exception. Some condition I am giving. So I want to make as exception. If any number is less than 8, I want to make it as an exception. And I have some description like this. Not valid to vote. Not valid to vote. Some message I am giving. Let me close this. Take an else block. Take an else block. Okay. So here, if it is not done again, just give some message like valid to vote. System dot out dot println. Okay. Valid to vote. So throw is used to throw an exception explicitly from a method. So you have to take a method valid to vote. So let me, that is a method valid age. So from there only I am throwing the exception. So let me close the method. I'll close the method valid age method. I am going to close. Okay. Now let us give a main method. Let me define the main method, public static void main. Let me define a main method, and inside that I'm going to call the method valid age. Let me call the method. Let me call the method. Okay. Valid age. I want to pass an integer value. Okay, I want to pass an integer value through command line arguments. So here, where is args? Here. So if you can pass at runtime, you can pass input to the main method. Okay, that will be received by this args, and it will be in the form of strings. Why? Because whatever input you are giving, even if it's your numbers, it's going to be taken as a numeric strings. Okay, even if it is a number, it's going to be taken as a numerical string. So I want to pass my input. I am not initializing, right? I'm not initializing. I'm passing my input. How do I pass? One is through scanner class. I can read through keyboard. The other one is at command prompt. Okay, at command line arguments, I can pass my input while I run the code. I want to pass the input. While I'm running the code, I will give the input. Any number of arguments, one value, two value, any number of arguments. But one thing you see, when I am passing some number here, some 10, when I pass here, it will be in the form of strings only. It is going to be in the form of strings, but I don't want to be in the form of strings. I want to take it as a number. So what can I do? I have to use a method. Can anyone tell me what method I have to use to convert that string to an integer? One of you please tell me, what method should I use? I want, see, at the runtime, I'm going to pass my input. I'll pass some 12. Definitely it's going to be taken as strings only. Why? Because at command line arguments, when I'm passing the input that is received, that is passed to the main, where it will be stored in the form of strings. Even though 12, it's going to be strings, but I want to compare here. I want to compare with a number. So I have to compare it, convert it to an integer. How can I convert it to integer? One of you can tell me, how can I convert this to integer? What is the method I have to use? Even if it is wrong also, it's not a problem. Please don't hesitate to answer. What is the method I have to use? I see this is args of 0. I am passing. So Java C space throw demo.java for compilation. When I run the code, Java space throw
int
demo.
parse method, ma.
Very good, ma. Who said? Who said, ma? Okay, whoever. Very good. Okay, bitter. Okay, like this. Let me. It's a very important method. Even in web technology subject also, you will come across these methods. So integer is a class, and parse int method. Okay, parse int method. I have to use that method. Parse int. Okay, like this. So use the method like this. And I am calling the method. You always observe a class method should be called through object only. But if I am calling without object, then that method should be static method. Only static method for using an object. So I'll make it as a that valid age method. If you notice, I have made it as a static method. Only static methods can be called without using the object. Okay, so like that. That's why I'm not in. See, you will create an object. Usually, how you call a method, you will create an object. Throw demo space some d is equal to new throw demo d dot valid age I have to give if I have to call, but I don't want to call it through object. I want to call the method without using the object. So only static methods are allowed to be called without using the object. So I made it as a static method. Right now, after that, let me print some statement. Println system.out.println. I'll put some message. Let's save it. So we have defined one method. The method definition is completed here, and you close the class. In the main method, you are calling the valid age method. You are calling the valid age method. I am passing some argument here. Suppose if it is 10 less than 18, then it should throw the exception. So it should throw this exception. So when this statement is encountered, the flow of execution will be stopped there, and it will check for the try catch block whether it is handling the exception. Okay, whether a catch block matches with that exception what you have given here. So if it matches, that catch block will handle that exception. Otherwise, it default exception handler will throw the uh, exception description. It will give you the exception description. Let's see. I did not use try catch block. I'll use it later. W demo2.java. I didn't close the class. What did I do? Oh no, not here. Main method. After, okay, I have to close the class. Public static void main string args illegal start. Method I have to host. Okay. Public static void main string args. I'll pass the input Java space throw demo2. I'll pass 18. Observe this. Okay. See this. What did I do? See here. I am passing 19. How I am passing? While running the program, while at runtime I am giving the input. So command line arguments. So this is the concept of command line argument. Okay. So you can give your input to the main. You are giving the input. You are passing the input to the main function. So through the command line arguments, you can pass the input. So at runtime, when you are giving input, that is command line argument. So 19 I have given here. Java throw demo2. It's the name of the file name. Okay. And here you are giving 19. So this is the number. But whenever you are passing some number, it will pass to the main. It will pass here. So args is going to receive it and will be storing in the string format. Here type I gave string, isn't it? It stores in the string format. So that is the reason you are converting it to integers. So parse int is a predefined method which is there in the integer class. So all these classes are there in lang package. So integer is a class. It is having parse int method. It is having parse float. If you want to convert it to float value, if you want to convert it to double, parse double. So this 19 is a number, it's a numeric string. It's going to be taken as a numerical string, not as a number. Okay, so here this args of 0, I pass this integer. So valid age is a method, inside that args of 0. So args of 0, args of 1, like that, any number of inputs you can give. I gave input 19. That will be sent to the main. Main is receiving it and will be in the form of string. So that's the reason I'm converting it to integer. ParseInt method is going to take it into a number. So this is a function call. So valid age of 19, semicolon you give, method call. It is a method call. So in Java you always tell methods. Okay, functions you call it in C program. Why? Because you are not using classes there. So in classes, when you are writing anything, you are using objects, so at that time you call it as methods only, not functions. So in Java you will call it as methods. Okay, so here what happened, method call is given, valid age of 19. Method call, it will call this method valid age, it will pass 19 here. So here we'll check 19 less than 18 is false, so it will go to the else block. Okay, it goes to the else block. It is false now, it will go to else block and it will print valid to vote. After that it will come back to this and it is printing welcome. There is no exception. But now this time I want to pass less than 18. So you are creating an exception. If it is less than 18, it is a customized exception, user exception. Okay, user defined exception. So if it is less than 18, let me compile it first. Then this time I will pass some 12. So the rest of the line code is not executed. The program is normally terminated. Observe carefully. See here, Java throw demo 12. So what happened here? So what happened here is valid age, args of 0, I passed 12. So here it will go, your execution will go to the method, valid age method. It is receiving 12. 12 is less than 18. The condition is true. What did I do inside that if block? I am throwing an exception explicitly. Throw is a keyword which is used to throw the exception explicitly from a method. So you are handing over an exception. So here what you're doing is you hand over your own exception to the JVM. So my own exception. Actually, our runtime errors are, for arithmetic exception can handle runtime error if it is like a number divided by 0. But I am making my own condition, my exception condition. Okay, I am making my own exception here. If a number is less than 12, I want to cause an exception in my code. In my project, I want to do somewhere like if any number is, if age is less than 18, if any person age is less than 18, I want to raise an exception. So that time I can make my own exception. So how you can do your own exception is with the help of throw keyword. Throw, new operator, type of exception you give, that is nothing but a subclass to the exception class. Any exception you give, it should be a subclass to the exception. And your description you have given here. You have given the description. So here you can notice that, see, exception in thread main. So it will throw the exception, your own exception. So you have created your own exception and you hand over it to the JVM. So it will call the exception class. From there it will call the throwable and it will call print stack trace method, where it is going to give the type of exception. And it is going, type of exception is, you have mentioned here, see, arithmetic exception, type of exception, and it is going to give the description, whatever you give inside this, that description not valid to vote. And you see, I didn't handle that exception, so it is not going to execute the rest of the code. This, when this block is completed, your execution comes back to this statement. After this, these leftover statements are not executed. System.out.println and welcome message is not shown. That means it's an abnormal termination. Exception is not handled. Now let's handle that exception. We have learned how to handle the exception in the previous class. Let's handle that exception. How to handle the exception? The code which raises the exception has to be kept inside the try block. So I'll put this inside the try block. So this number 12, when I pass, so it will raise the exception. So put it in the try block. And inside the catch block, you have to handle the exception. So catch, and what type of exception you have given here, that exception type exception. So if it is less than 18, I want to raise it as an arithmetic exception. So I will mention that exception and you give the object here. Okay, as an argument you give the object, and here you can give anything, system dot out dot println. You handle the exception. So print the type of exception. We have handled the exception. Now let's close that catch block. Catch block is used to handle the exception. Now let me save and compile once again. Java C space file name.java. Okay, so you see here, I handle the exception. So you are handling the exception. It's showing the type of exception and the description what you gave, and it's continuing. It did not halt the program there. There is no abnormal termination of your program. The rest of the flow of execution is continuing. So you see this system.out.println welcome message is also executed. Why? Because the exception is handled. Your own exception you created and you handled that exception. So this is what throw is. Throw is to handle throw keyword. It is used in Java to throw an exception, to explicitly throw an exception from a method or any block of the code. So it could be a checked exception or unchecked exception. And here I am making my own exception. So what is throw is? Throw is used mainly for the user defined exception. That means you can make your own exception and hand over that exception object to the JVM. So this is the concept of throw. The syntax goes like this: throw, new operator, and the type of exception. Inside the parentheses you give the description. So this is the syntax. Once again I will tell you this example. Class throw demo2 is the name of the class. Inside this I have kept a method. So throw is a keyword which will throw an exception from a method. So I have made a method here. So I made a method and I made it as a static method. Why did I make it as static method? Is I will call this method without using the class object. I'm going to call this method without using the class object. That's why I have given static keyword here. Type, return type is void. Function is method is not returning anything. Valid age is the name of the method. And one argument I have taken. Why? Because I will pass one integer value. I have given int age. I'm going to pass an integer value. Int is the type and age is the argument name. So inside the valid age method, what did I give is, I have given a condition. If number is less than 18, if age is less than 18, I am going to explicitly throw an exception, my own exception object. I'm going to throw my own exception object. Okay. So actually a number divisible by 0 is a runtime error which will raise an exception, and that is handled by the built-in exception, arithmetic exception. Okay, if a number is divisible by 0, it is causing a runtime error and it is causing an exception where that can be handled by a built-in exception, that is arithmetic exception. But now what I am doing, I am making my own exception. What is that my own exception is? If a number is less than 18, I am raising an exception. I want my project, in my project, I want to raise an exception. If a number is less than 18, I want to raise an exception. This is my own exception. Actually, we have runtime errors where it causes the exception, like a number divided by 0. Then only the arithmetic exception will handle that. Then only the built-in arithmetic exception is going to be handle that exception in catch block. So you can call JVM and JVM will handle that exception, and rest of the lines of code will be executed. Continuation will be there. But here I am making my own exception. Age is less than 18, I want to raise an exception. So throw, that is done with the help of throw keyword. Throw can explicitly throw an exception where it can be handled by the again try catch block. So you can explicitly throw an exception from a method. So new operator, you take the new operator here, and then the type of exception. Inside the parenthesis you can give some description. So here the flow, when the flow of execution here during the flow of execution, wherever this throw is encountered, the flow of execution will stop there, and it will check whether there is an enclosing try block and followed with a catch block which has the matching exception, which matches to that exception, whatever you have mentioned here, whether it matches to that exception. Then only this catch block will be executed. Otherwise, it will check some other try catch block if there is any other try catch block. But here in our example, see here, when the method is called, as soon as this throw statement is encountered, it will see, the compiler will check the JVM will check whether there is any enclosing try catch block. So the try block is there and followed with a catch block, and this it will see whether that matches to that exception what you have mentioned here. So here it matches to that exception. So if it is so, then that catch block will be executed. It will handle the exception. So you know, when you make an object here, then it will call internally the parent classes. It is going to call the exception class and throwable class. In that, print stack trace method will be called, which will print the message. It is going to print the type of exception and also the description of the exception. So here you see the type of exception and the description. And as the exception is handled by the catch block, the remaining line of code is also executed. So what you did here is you have defined a method. This is a method you have defined. And in the main method, you have called the method valid age. You have called the method valid age. In that, what you are doing is, one second. One second, ma. So inside this main method, what did you do is, you are calling the valid age method. So when you call the valid age method, you are passing the input also, and you are passing input through command line argument. Args of 0, it's going to pass the input to the main method, and you need to take it as an integer. So you are using integer.parseInt method. So that 12 or 10, whatever number you are taking, that will be converted to integer. When it calls the method, it is passing as an integer value. So 12 it is passing. 12 less than 18. The condition is true. So it will throw the exception. It will throw the exception, and the catch block is going to handle the exception. Okay, it is going to handle the exception. The code which may raise the exception has to be kept inside the try block, and the catch block is going to handle the exception. We learned that how we make an object for the exception. So this is the way. Argument, you give the argument here. You give an object here, that is an argument. As an argument, you give an object here as an argument. So this is going to internally call some methods which are predefined methods, like a print stack trace method, which is going to give you a type of exception and the description about the exception. So this way the catch is handling the exception, and then the rest of the lines of code is also executed. So this small program you have seen. Now one small thing I'll tell you here. Instead of writing this predefined built-in exception, you can write your own exception name also, but that should become a subclass to the exception class. So let me take my exception. Instead of writing that predefined, where I'm typing, one second. My exception, I will write it as this one. Instead of using the predefined that is built-in exception, arithmetic exception, I can write my own exception. That is also possible, but always you see that this should become a subclass to that exception class. Earlier I wrote arithmetic exception. Obviously arithmetic exception is a subclass to the exception class. Exception class is a subclass to the throwable class. But now here, when I'm writing my exception, that is my own exception name, it should become a subclass to the exception class. So here also you change. It should match to that. So change it here also, my exception. So how can I make it? Let me make one more class. How can I make a subclass? I have to extend the parent class. So what is my class name, which I want to use it as an exception name, is my exception. That one, you have to make it as a subclass to the exception class. So earlier I used a built-in exception. Okay, earlier I used a built-in exception, but that is already a subclass. It's a predefined exception class, which is a subclass of exception class. But now explicitly I have to make it as a subclass. I have to make my exception class as a subclass to the exception class. Explicitly I have to do that. So how can I do that? I have to use extends keyword. Take a class, my exception, and extends. You know that extends is used for inheriting. You use it for inheriting. My exception is going to become a subclass to this exception class, and I need to make a constructor here. Let's make a constructor. Okay, my exception. Why? Because I need to invoke that exception class, and that in turn invokes the throwable class, where that is going to call the method. So how can I invoke super keyword? Hope you remember what is super. Super is used to call the parent class constructor. Super is used to call the parent class constructor, and inside this my exception you give the string s. Why? Because it's going to take the description, your description, not valid to vote, all that description has to be passed. Okay, so you mention it inside the super, you mention it inside super like this. Okay, so my except throw new my exception, when I give, okay, it is going to call this constructor automatically, and this constructor, inside this constructor I have given super. About super I already explained you. Super is used to call the parent class constructor. It is going to call the parent class constructor, so it is used to make a description available to that exception handler. So from the my exception, so when you use super, okay, when you use super, it is going to call the exception class, that is in turn is going to call the throwable class, that is in turn calling the predefined method print stack trace, that is going to give you the description, all the description about your exception. So let's see this. Let me close this class. Let's see this. So here I did not write built-in exception, arithmetic exception. I have used my own exception. Throw new my exception might got or declared. So here you need to declare also. 1 second. Where is my method? Static. 1 second. Here I need to, I'll explain you what is this throws also. Throws, I need to tell that explicitly, I need to declare that this method might cause an exception, and you have, and it's going to tell main method, you should handle this exception. I'll tell you about throws. Once I complete this, I'll tell you about throws also. Java space, file name is throw demo2 space. You need to pass the argument. Okay, input I am passing through the command line argument. So let's pass through the command line argument. Input, let me pass. Okay, so here if you observe, it is not showing arithmetic exception now. It is showing you my exception colon not valid to vote. This is description, and this is the type of the exception. And your rest of the code is continued. That's why this welcome message is also printed. I'll explain you detailedly now. Customized exceptions I am doing in this program. What that is user defined exception. So what did I do here is, what did I do? You observe carefully. I am using, instead of using arithmetic exception or null pointer exception, which is subclass of that exception class, I am using my own exception name. That is possible. That is possible only if this becomes subclass to that exception class. So all this from here to here we already completed. I discussed this. Now what I'm telling is, in the previous program, I have used arithmetic exception here, but now I am using my exception. Arithmetic exception is already a subclass. It's a built-in exception, which is already a subclass to exception class. So that's why you did not write this. You did not extend it explicitly. But now that I'm using my own exception name, I have to extend the exception class. I have to make this as a subclass to the exception class. Compulsorily, I have to make it as a subclass to the exception class. Okay, I have to, you notice carefully, I did not use arithmetic exception or any predefined built-in exceptions. I am writing my own exception name. So earlier that arithmetic exception was already a subclass, but now this user defined exception class, my own exception class, I am writing my own exception class name. So this should compulsorily become a subclass to the exception class. So to do that, what I'm doing is I am writing a class. I'm taking a class. Class name is my exception, and I am inheriting from the exception class extends exception. So this is going to become